Andries, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Let's talk about your brief. Who are you representing?
Thank you very much, Wangio, for having me, and thanks to the viewers. We represent the Kopanong local municipality, and we also represent people that were personally affected by the collapse of the dam wall. So therefore, it means we are looking at claims for damage to infrastructure that is run by the municipality. Like, for example, your sewer system has been damaged, your water supply reservoirs has been damaged, as well as electricity infrastructure has been damaged, and telephone communication. Over and above, we have people who lost their households as well as their possessions and livestock.
And who are they looking at taking action against?
As at now, it looks as though there has been negligence criminally as well as civilly by the mining house itself insofar as keeping safe the walls of the mine wall. Over and above, we're still looking at who is supposed to be held liable for this. We're saying that the mine itself, both from shareholder up until the level of your directorships, are supposed to be held liable for this.
So the Department of Water and Sanitation in the last few days has spoken about working with law enforcement agencies to also ensure that, you know, the mine management is also prosecuted. Are you going to be teaming up with them?
We're looking at holding hands with all the parties that are saying they would like to assist those that have suffered losses as a result of the collapse of the dam wall. So therefore, any other party that says they're raising the very same concern that we're raising, we're willing to work with them to make sure that the justice prevails in the local municipality.
And one of the things that, you know, we've seen is that government, through the president, has pledged support for these residents, saying that they're going to be helping them to rebuild, and they are going to also assist them in, you know, trying to really get their lives back on track. Are you then, you know, getting a sense on the ground? Give us a sense of where your members are right now. Are they also blaming, you know, government for this particular incident? Because we've also seen some suggesting that had there been more stringent measures to ensure that there's accountability or even a regular inspection, things could have ended differently.
Yesterday, I was in a meeting with the mayor of the local municipality, together with the speaker of the local municipality and the affected family members. Now, we were supposed to have had that meeting together with the mining house. But instead of us having discussions with either the directors of the mine or even the shareholders, we had an attorney that came alone, and he stated that he was seeking to make an offer in respect of the damage that has been caused. So the basic question that I asked was, we need to know for a fact that we're speaking to the rightful people that are supposed to be at a later stage. If they need to be held accountable, they will be able to be saying we are the ones that caused all of this damage. We were not able to achieve all of that. We also know that prior to us arriving yesterday at Jagersfontein, there were visits by government departments, like, for example, your DMR. But DMR has not been able to outline indeed that Jagersfontein is running as a mining house, and therefore, here is their mining permit, here is their mining right, and this is what they are entitled to do as a result of their mining operations. So that being the case, it therefore means we are so far from finding who is supposed to be held liable, and we're also so far insofar as making sure that we assess the exact damage that has been suffered as a result of the dam wall. One other thing that is of concern is that in as much as there might have been a visit by DMR, there is now a discussion and a point that was made by one professor who stated that from a topographical view, it looks as if the dam wall has been supported on one end, but it looks as if there could be even just one little rain, there will be collapse on the north-facing side of the wall, which therefore says to us that we are not seeking to have a solution insofar as what really caused the calamity, but we are just seeking to have protection and to deal with just the effects of the dam wall collapse.
So, Andries, where was this attorney who you say was seeking to make these settlements coming from?
He says he comes from the mining house itself, and he would not go and divulge who sent him through to come through and make an offer of an amount of 20 million rand. So what we requested him to do was to say that he must put that offer in writing, disclosing who has sent him, where the money comes from, what purpose it's supposed to serve, so that we should know that if we accept that, it's not going to be doing away with our clients' claims in a later stage.
The fact that you're saying that you're still far from knowing what exactly happened here because the DMRE is also not able to provide some of the paperwork that you're looking for. How does that, impact this particular case that you've taken on?
It does so in a very great way, in the sense that up until such time as you have been able to verify who you are supposed to institute legal proceedings against, you cannot initiate those proceedings. The basic question that a court will ask you is, one, who are you? And you'd say that I'm Andries, I'm affected by this collapse simply because my house has been damaged. Second, it says, who are you bringing your case against? And you say, Jagersfontein mine. And they say, but is it a mine? Have you been able to verify whether it's a company, it's a CC, it's a sole proprietor, it's got this particular licenses to run this particular operations? Because by my understanding now, Jagersfontein does not even possess a mining license. They say they are running that sludge on the basis of a water permit. And a water permit is not per definition in the MPRDA, Mineral Petroleum and Resources Development Act, a mining operation. And it's for that reason that we're saying we need to do that exercise first and determine who's supposed to be held liable. And only then are we going to go to the next question, which is the extent of damage. So this process of the mine saying they're bringing experts to come and verify whether or not the mine will, the mud will adversely affect people that reside in these households that they're seeking to repair. It's way, way far from what we are seeking to achieve.
And, I'm not sure if you saw these reports, the Daily Maverick reporting, that the Mineral Resources Minister, Mantashe, says that the High Court ruling, that left his department without jurisdiction over all tailings dams, including the one in Jagersfontein, was a big mistake. I wonder, though, when I was reading that story, one question came to mind that should government have not appealed this particular ruling, especially looking at the fact that inspections wouldn't be carried out regularly as a result?
One of the things that we are supposed to look into is the very same judgment that Minister Mantashe speaks about. I wonder as to whether or not that judgment applies retrospectively, because you would understand that the size of the dam wall that we're talking about is far, far old, insofar as just the size of the dam is concerned. So therefore, it therefore means we would expect the DMR to still have had jurisdiction come the time that this calamity took place, but even from the time that this dam wall was erected. So I don't think that it's a valid argument that he makes that says the judgment says they don't have jurisdiction anymore. Any more should have been from the time that the judgment was granted onwards. And my understanding is that this risk has been there for the longest of time, even prior to that judgment being granted. But the one other thing that I think I need to pass is that when I approach the municipality, they say they don't have a copy of the social and labor development plan from the mine, between the mine and themselves. So therefore it means they are sitting there operating on municipal property and nobody's saying there is any obligations on them to try and take care of the interests of the community. So therefore it says to us that we still have got a long way to go insofar as making sure that there's compliance with the basics of the Mineral Resources Petroleum Development Act, the Constitution, and many other acts.
It looks like there's quite a long road ahead before even this matter can see the light of day and recent court. But let's continue then to talk and see what happens in the coming days. As you say that there are some impediments, particularly to this process here. I mean, no social and labor development plan. That's already red flags, especially in this particular situation. But let's leave it there with you for now. Thank you so much for your time. That was attorney for Jagersfontein Residents, Andries Nkome, just bringing us up to speed about the course of legal action that is likely to unfold here.